We have thousands of people who go missing every year, just here in the United States, and there's no discrimination on the missing. They are young, old, black, white, male or female, even children. It's time to stop. Miracles is still missing, and they've not found any new clues. It's women who are pregnant, it's women who have jobs, and it's women who have not seen even fetal abductions. Have you seen me? Welcome to my channel, everyone. Thank you so much for caring.
Hello guys, welcome to Talking News, Chasing a Murder. My name is Debbie. I want to kindly ask you guys to please press that like button, subscribe, and also hit that notification bell. And I want to mention I do have a PayPal if you would like to donate to this channel to help keep it going. So this story was suggested by one of our subscribers and family members, Doreen. And let me tell you guys, this is a horrible story. It's sad. And the story comes out of Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm sure you might have heard about it. If not, well, brace and hold your heart, guys, because this one is a tough one. So on this story, the quick cap here is the police receive a 911 call on November 6th with concerns about two children who were found unresponsive. This home belonged to Amanda Jefferson Sharp and Jaquan Singleton. The mother, Amanda Jefferson, of these two children were arrested, and two of her babies were pronounced dead on site. And the two baby girls that we're speaking about are 1-year-old Rose and 2-month-old little Lily. And right now, the mother, Amanda, is facing 2 counts of open murder. As I started researching the story, it just seemed like there might be a little bit more to it. Not sure what that little bit more is. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and get started on a little bit of background. As I said, this story is coming out of Las Vegas, Nevada, when 911 dispatchers get a call on November 6th with concerns about 2 children who were found unresponsive. Shortly after that, their mother, Amanda Jefferson, was arrested. And she was arrested because the 2 children were found deceased in that apartment. So let's go over their timeline a little bit. So according to news articles and interviews by Jaquan Singleton, he and his girlfriend Amanda Sharp/Jefferson have been in a relationship since 2018. They live in Las Vegas. Jaquan says that they've never really experienced any problems in their relationship until just a few weeks ago. He said for most of the time that they're together, things were normal, but a few weeks ago, Amanda's behavior began to change. She started accusing Jaquan of cheating on her. Not only cheating on her, but with his spirit wife. He seems pretty comfortable when he says that, so it's kind of interesting to know where this spirit wife comes from. Jaquan says that she was going through a spiritual soul type thing, one where she was not living in reality. She was in the spiritual and soul reality. It also appears that Amanda has been pregnant nearly the entire time this couple has been in a relationship. On November 5th of 2020, around 7:30 that evening, Jaquan leaves his apartment. Jaquan says that he goes to spend time with his 6-year-old daughter, Violet, who is living with his grandmother. Again, Jaquan says that everything seems normal when he leaves the apartment. But as I researched this, what I thought was strange is the fact that he doesn't come home later on that night. Instead, he returns back to the apartment November 6th around noon the next day. And so he returns back home on Friday to his apartment, which is near Desert Inn Road and Maryland Parkway. He walks through the door He says he takes his jacket off and he asks what's going on. And Amanda shushes him, says shh. So Jaquan notices that Amanda's getting dressed. He asks her, what's your problem? And I want to let you guys know that some of this information is a bit contradicting. Not too bad. So Jaquan, the father of the two children, says he walks over to where his babies are. And he's concerned that the babies are stacked on top of one another. He asks his girlfriend why the girls stacked like that. But he says the mom merely just shushes him once again. Jaquan says he feels that maybe there's someone else in the apartment with him and starts checking out each room inside. He realizes there's nobody inside and he walks back over to the babies and he touches the head of one of his daughters and says that the baby's head is eerily cold, basically. He noticed that neither girl was breathing and their lifeless bodies were both just still very cold. Jaquan probably was in a state of where he didn't believe what was happening. So he sprinkles the water on the baby's face, trying to get some type of response, and then he plays with the eyelids of his daughters and still has no response. It's at this point he realizes his worst nightmare and he loses it. He says, quote, I'm asking her like, what did you do to my daughter? What did you do to my daughter? End quote. He says that Amanda's like, shh, shh. And she just continues to shush him. In between all that shushing, Amanda tells her boyfriend, Jaquan, that the baby's organs are worth a lot of money. At that point, you can't imagine what he might have been thinking. He ends up calling his mother first and 911 second. According to the 911 call, Jaquan can be heard talking to Amanda. He asked her, what did you do? And her being saying what, and then after a brief silence, he says, quote, she drowned them, end quote. According to Jaquan, after her children were deceased, she took a shower. She didn't call 911. She didn't call anyone. And the father of the two beautiful girls he told the police that, quote, she drowned them. I feel like the mom drowned them or something, end quote. Paramedics were immediately dispatched, but both girls were declared dead on arrival. And according to a few news sources, they say that Amanda, the mother of the two girls, were overheard again talking about how much her daughter's organs might be worth. However, it isn't sure how she's referencing that. It's not certain if she's suggesting that someone's after the children or she planned to harvest those organs. So we don't know. So Amanda, the mother of those children, was arrested and taken to the Las Vegas Metro Police Department headquarters. Police said that as other family members started to arrive, they became angry at this mother. Authorities took the mom to the police station for more than one reason. One reason was to interview her, ask her questions, and the second was pretty much to save her from the angry mob. Guys, excuse me if I got any names mixed up through this. I really don't want to re-record this. So when police talked to Amanda, she tells them that she didn't know her boyfriend and that she found these two girls in her apartment. She doesn't have any children. She also claimed that she lived alone in this apartment and that she found these two girls, like I just mentioned, that appeared to be deceased. Says she just woke up that morning and walked into the living room and they were there. She also said that this whole entire incident is a setup. Her reality is, according to police and the police report, is that whatever happened to those girls was set up to make her look like she did something. She even suggests that somebody must have placed the stroller there as part of that setup. Investigators asked Amanda what she meant when she said the girls' organs were worth money. Her response was, she said, quote, I saw a movie where people made money off of body parts. Amanda since has been to court. In fact, she went to court Friday, charged with 2 counts of open murder. She has a preliminary hearing which will be scheduled for 9 a.m. on November 24th. According to ABC, they reported that Amanda was granted a public defender and a bail hearing was scheduled for Thursday. She's also, we know about this because I just told you that she has a preliminary hearing set up for the 24th. As for the children's father, he says, quote, "That day when I seen them, I died. I still feel blank. I'm numb," end quote. He's fighting to keep the anger from taking him over. He feels like that won't do him any good, even despite the pain that he's going through. He says, quote, "I forgive her. I love her. If I walk around with hate or anger, I'm not gonna be able to get through this situation," end quote. So the babies were identified as Lily and Rose Singleton. The cause of death is still unknown, at least at this time, and has to be released by the coroner's office. And as I listened to the story, there was several speculations that I could come up with, and one of them being, since she had these children back to back, I mean, they're 11 months apart, guys. It's never good for a mother to do that. She could be going through a postpartum depression. This story is completely new to me, so I'm not certain, much about their backgrounds, where they come from, but it appears that maybe there's a little bit going on there. And one of the key clues in this, I think, is the fact that he leaves the apartment at 7:30 the night before and doesn't return home until noon. He says that she's been concerned that he's cheating, not with somebody real, but with his spirit wife. It would be interesting to know where the spirit world or altars are coming from. I've tried to look it up, but really there's no information of where they're getting this from. While today people are in search for spirituality, finding themselves, finding the meaning of life, that's one of the main things people are interested in these days, especially young people. I noticed that many things like cults, occults, stranger groups, these meditation groups, all these things are kind of growing quite rapidly. It almost seems as if people get lost without some type of leadership, finding something to live for. It's really quite simple. In reality, look at your neighbor beside you, look at the people living in your house, and everything else around you, including nature. You have a lot to live for. It's about what you give during your time here. But here in this story, guys, she's just 26 years old. She has 2 babies back to back. She's afraid that her boyfriend is cheating on her. He doesn't give us much information about her other than just 2 weeks ago she started acting kind of strange. And one of our main concerns in this country is mental health, and it's really grown out of control. So much so that they're neglecting these people who need help. So while people are out there fighting amongst each other, listening to the stuff that media throws out that is useless garbage these days, how about just working on writing your leaders and insisting that we come up with a mental health program for people who are suffering that can't get the help? Several reasons for that, and that has to do with insurance, has to do with whether or not something's available, and whether or not something is immediately available. That's where we really lack. And the problem with this is they do not want to control how many kids they're having because they think that's unjust. But is it fair to the children that are going through this? They're the ones being hurt. They're the ones dying. So I think our morals and values are in the wrong places. And I could go on for hours with that one, but I'm not. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this here. But guys, check out these faces right here. We still have girls out there that are missing. Their stories are dying out. Please take 10 seconds out of your day to share a photo of one of our missing girls. I want to say, guys, I appreciate every one of you Thank you for watching. I hope you all are doing great. You're getting through this horrible year this year. And let's hope for a better year next year. Love you guys. See you soon.
Tragically cut short.
Rose was my big juice and Lily was my brown sugar.
Jaquan Singleton told me he left them with their mom, Amanda Sharp Jefferson, Thursday night, so he could be with his other daughter, Violet, at his grandmother's.
I see Rose, I see Amanda, I see Lily. Everything's good. I was like around 7-something. I'm giving them kisses, I'm giving them hugs. I'm like, I'll see y'all tomorrow.
That was the last time he saw his two youngest daughters alive.